All right, the countertop is dusted and ready to go. And now we will get the the dough kind of out here and good to go. Scrape this out a little bit. We are ready to divide the dough. All right, now I'm just dividing it. I'm sprinkling some flour. I want to divide the loaves of bread up, and it's not too particular, but first thing I do is, most importantly, get the pizza dough off. Keep the wife happy. And now, to divide and form the dough into a loaf. And this is really all up to you. Usually in a single batch you'll get 2 loaves of bread out of it. Double batch I could get probably 4 really huge loaves out of it, but like I said, I opt to use pizza dough or get some pizza dough out of it instead. This is a smaller loaf. I just cut it real small. You can kind of tell there's some people that like smaller loaves, so usually I'll always try to make a small loaf and gently place it in the proofing basket, and basically we just keep going until all of our loaves are made. This one's a little bit bigger of a piece, and we'll just do this with all 4 loaves and get them in the proofing basket. So I should have mentioned this also, when you're working with forming the loaves of bread, you want to keep your countertop as clean as possible, otherwise the bread slides too much and it's really hard to get it into a nice tight little ball. And when you're forming it, you also want to do what you can to keep all the gas bubbles intact and happy like that, so it stays nice and fluffy when it bakes. But yeah, cleaner the surface is, the better. And right now this is a little bit full of flour yet, but as you work it, it takes the flour up and you can get a real nice tight little loaf with a lot of gas bubbles trapped in it. And this is too where you kind of form it and try to get a nice little circle, and then you basically just dust the tops of the loaves with some flour and you will cover them. When you're doing bread, usually the ones that go into the oven, you keep them out in the proofing baskets for the first half hour. If you have more than 1 loaf you're making and you only have 1 cast iron pan, what you're going to need to do is, after a half hour, put 1 of the loaves into the refrigerator, covered just like it is. The reason why I'm doing it this way, I have 2 cast iron pans, so I am able to do 2 loaves at once. So this is going to be my first batch that sits out for 30 minutes. At 30 minutes, this batch will go into the refrigerator. This one will sit out for 5 more minutes to proof a little bit longer, and I'll get ready to throw it in the oven. Right now, what I do when these are covered is preheat the oven to 465 degrees with my cast iron bread pan in there. And this is the cast iron bread pan that I use. And I will have to adjust my oven rack as soon as I get this all out right. So we have the oven preheated to 465 degrees with the cast iron pans inside of it. We'll let that sit for about 35-40 minutes getting hot while these kind of rest here. Again, these both stay out for 30 minutes. Then these go into the refrigerator until they're ready to get baked. These will get another 5 minutes, and then we'll take the cast iron pans out and throw those in the oven. So we'll see you then.